Everyone says you need $200,000 to make real money in rentals. I hear you, but I'll show you how I turned a $30,000 house into $1,600 a month in cash flow. $1,600 a month in cash flow with guaranteed rent. And most investors would have passed on this property, but I turned it into pure cash flow. You want to see how? All right, well, listen. Most people think $30,000 houses are junk, and let me prove they're not. It all comes down to the market that you're investing in. So just a quick intro. I am Ashley Lorraine, M.Ed, Section 8 investor and coach, and I help busy professionals build cash flow portfolios. And my clients live in many states all over the country and in many countries all over the world, and they are all cash flowing far beyond the 1% rule, as you'll see today. So we're going to go ahead and walk through one of the properties that my clients did, and you can take a look for yourself. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see. One moment here. And you're probably going to want to pull out a calculator because sometimes when I pull my calculator up, it doesn't show on the screen, or you can just follow along, totally up to you. All right, so let's get into this. I literally just taught this at a title company a couple of days ago. Let's get it nice and pretty for you. So this is the subject property. And as you can see, this is a picture from the appraisal. It's located in the area where I always tell the people who work with me to invest, which is why we're able to get high cash flow. And this is a property that we just did last year. So pretty fresh. So let's look at the numbers. This is a HUD statement. If you've never heard of a HUD statement, it's pretty much like the receipt that you get when you close on a real estate deal. It just breaks down the numbers, how much money was paid, and what the buyer and seller made off of it. So you can just look at what I have circled in the red. So as you can see in the red, we closed in September 2024. The contracted sales price was $30,000 for this house. And you guys saw the previous slide. It's a nice house, right? Nice looking house. All right. The settlement charges you'll see says $14,719. And you might be thinking, oh my God, were those your closing costs? Some of it was closing costs, about $2,000 of it, but the rest of it was a wholesale fee. So as investors, a lot of us work with wholesalers because we're able to get properties for pennies on the dollar. We don't have to pay like real estate commissions, whatever their fee is already rolled into the price that we were quoted from the wholesaler. So that's what you're seeing right there. That wholesaler made quite a bit of money. And I don't count their money, and I hope that you don't get into a habit of doing that. A good deal is a good deal is a good deal. I don't care if they make $1 million. If it's a good deal that's going to make me the money I want, let them have it. I digress. So all in, we were at $42,451. I'm looking at the red circle at the bottom. And as you can see, it was all cash. So if you look to the left of the red circle at the bottom, you'll see it's cash. Okay. Now, this cash, my client, so when you're in my network, I hook you up with everything: private money lenders, traditional lenders, contractors, real estate agents, wholesalers, tenant placement. Like my entire crew becomes your crew. So they got this deal from one of our wholesalers, and they actually got the cash for this deal from one of our private money lenders. Now, let me just say, I am not a private money lender broker. Okay. If it's a good deal, a lot of times my private money people are like, hey, what you got? And I send it. If they like it, they do it. And then you guys can figure your own stuff out. I just want to say that real quick. Okay. So this is the invoice. So you can start tallying up how much we've spent on this property so far. So we paid $42,000 for the property, wholesaler fees, closing costs. And of course we had to get a rehab. So the total rehab for this property is at the bottom. I forgot to circle it, but it's $14,000. So that's how much we needed to get this house rent ready. Now take a look at this red arrow. This is important because the reason why so many investors passed on this property is because it had some fire damage. And a lot of investors are afraid of, houses that have fire damage, because think about it. A lot of things can happen from the fire, or when the fire truck comes and, blast it with water, the water can get everywhere. Things like that can happen. So this is why I love my team and why I always want my clients to use my contractors. They're experienced in fire damage. We've actually done some real bad fire damage properties before. So this was nothing to us, but to almost everyone else, it was like, oh my God, we're not doing this, right? So that's why, we were able to get it at a really good price. It was not a whole lot of competition for this property, which is rare because there's a lot of competition in this area. So as you can see, we got the roof repair completed. That was only $3,500. Yes, that's why you need to use my contractors. No one's trying to gauge you here, gouge you here. Like, you get my prices. And then of course, miscellaneous like paint, drywall, just getting everything nice and rent ready. So we were all in at $14,000. So if you're doing the math, that's 42 plus 14, which is what, 56? So about $56,000. And that is to get it rent ready. And if you're checking out the dates, you'll see how quickly we got this done. So you saw on the HUD statement a few slides earlier, we closed in September. By November, we had the repairs done and we had an appraisal completed on the property. And so the property appraised for $122,000. I'll just pause for the cause for that one because I just feel like you need some time to understand what I just said. By November. Okay, I said we bought the house for $30,000, had a wholesale fee of about $13,000, put $14,000 in repairs and renovations, all in at about $56,000, and then 2 months later, the house appraised for $122,000. This is why it's so important to buy right. This is why it's important to have wholesalers sending you great deals, having great relationships. This is why you want to have contractors who are good to you on the prices and who can do hard things, right? That other people might not want to touch. We could have stopped right here, right? We could have stopped right here and just said, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and sell this and take our quick little $60,000 and have a great day, right? But had we done that, of course, after paying ourselves back and walking away with that 60, we would have had to find another deal. And, who wants to do that? We're in this for the cash flow. Plus, this money's not going anywhere, right? If we ever want to pull the equity out, we can. All right. So then this is a text message that I got from the tenant placement agent. Oh man, I meant to black out the name of the street that it's on, but whatever. So she was like, okay, we can do this in 2 weeks. And this is the rent that we got for the property. So typically, you guys know I love a good Section 8 exit. But you may have also heard that in our current federal government, they are having some changes with Section 8. And I always, I like to be ahead of the curve. So back when we heard, this was around November last year, right, during the election time, and we kind of saw where it was going. So I was like, all right, let's try to start pivoting to kind of see what else is out there. So we started partnering with other voucher programs that are not necessarily Section 8. So anyway, this is one of them that we partnered with. And for this property, they offered us $1,600 for a 3-family move-in. That means only 3 people in that family. In Section 8, for me to get that rent, number one, I don't think I would have gotten that high of a rent. And I know it would have been a much larger family moving in there. So anyway, we went ahead and got it rent ready, meaning like ready to pass the inspection. Most voucher programs do have an inspection. Lucky for us, our tenant placement agent and our contractor works with them all the time, not just for our things, but for my other clients who I send, my team to work with. So we were good to go on that one. I know some people are thinking, okay, all right, this is crazy. This is impossible. So you mean you only paid $30,000 for the house, then you paid a wholesaler, and then you did the repairs, all in at $56,000. Now this house is worth $122,000, so you're making $1,600 a month. Like, where's the catch? I bet you the insurance is high. I bet you the taxes are high. So yeah, they're not. So if you're following the dates right after we close, of course, we got insurance on the property. You see, I'm doing all this from Houston, right? And you'll see down here, our total premium was $1,160. So about $1,200 per year, which is what? About $100 per month. So if you're clocking what the paycheck is for this every single month when the rent check hits, yes, $1,600 minus $100 a month for the insurance. So that takes us down to $1,500 per month. for a house that we paid $56,000 for, all in, including the repairs. Remember that 1% rule that everyone's talking about? What percent am I? I'm way above that, right? Okay. And then, of course, you want to consider the taxes. So the taxes, you can just go to the county website. The taxes here, 418, but it's 418 every half year. So in total, it's about $850 every year. I don't know the math on that. What is it, like $70 a month or something like that? Okay, so we were at $1,600 a month, and then it's minus 100 for our insurance. That took us to 15, minus another 70 for our taxes. That takes us to 1430. This is net. This is net profit, right? That we get to go home with every single month. So I don't think you have to be a mathematician to understand that this seems like a unicorn, but we do properties like this all day, every day, because we know the market, we have our team, and we have our process that we just do the same play over and over and over and over and over. So I hope this was helpful. And now you see how I was able to do a $30,000 house, and it's bringing me in $1,600 per month. I mean, guys, I'm here all day if you want to talk more about it. So listen, you don't need six figures to invest. You need strategy, you need a team, you need a coach, right? With the team and with the strategy. So if you're sitting on savings, if you're sitting on equity, this is how you start. This is how you start. And if you'd like to do your first deal like this with me and my team guiding you step by step, you can just click on the link in the description and we'll walk you through everything. So drop in the comments what city you're from. I'm curious to know what city you're from, and I'd love to help you on future lives. Just let me know what you want to talk about. Okay? Well, I'm going to hop off here, but I wanted to share that with you guys. Share it with a friend, like, subscribe. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss these kinds of deals and breakdowns, but send them to anyone you know who's been interested in real estate investing. A lot of people feel, like it's hard, like you have to have a bajillion dollars, and you don't. And you just saw that. All right. So I'll see you guys on the next live. And again, if you want to work with me and my team, just click the link in the description, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. All right. Bye, guys.